How should we think about China's role in the changing global security environment? I'm Sheena Chestnut Greitens, a non-resident scholar in the Asia program at the Carnegie Endowment for International Peace, and today I'm excited to share some new work with my colleagues Isaac Kardon and Cameron Waltz. Analysts and policymakers are used to thinking about China's military as a global security actor. Our research documents a different aspect of China's global security footprint, outreach carried out by the internal security apparatus. This outreach and these activities form an important but often overlooked part of China's foreign policy. Actors like China's Ministry of Public Security, the Ministry of State Security, and the Central Political Legal Commission of the Chinese Communist Party have conducted a range of activities under the auspices of Xi Jinping's Global Security Initiative. These internal security agencies are expanding China's physical and digital presence through intelligence, surveillance, law enforcement, and other internal security partnerships, carrying out activities that shape law and order in other countries. Some analysts have argued that GSI is essentially old wine in new bottles, repackaging old efforts under a new, more attractive brand. Our research shows that there is some repackaging, but that China is using the Global Security Initiative to construct a range of new mechanisms for global security cooperation at the international, regional, and bilateral levels. At the global level, Beijing is using the Global Public Security Cooperation Forum, or Lianyungang, to set new public standards in policing and public security, and to promote its preferred principles and practices in areas like counterterrorism, police cooperation, and the use of surveillance and other technology in internal security. Since 2022, the Global Public Security Cooperation Forum, or Lianyungang, has become China's largest global security gathering, exceeding in size and participation comparable gatherings hosted by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and the Defense Ministry. At the regional level, Beijing is strengthening existing mechanisms of cooperation and building new forms of regional outreach. Its efforts are most developed in Central Asia and in Southeast Asia, but Beijing is also building new mechanisms of security cooperation and outreach to places like the Pacific Islands countries, East Africa, and Latin America. China also engages in a lot of bilateral security partnerships and outreach, which we'll talk more about in some forthcoming work. Our research shows that Beijing takes a blended approach to global security governance. It supports existing mechanisms in some cases, actively pushes to revise or repurpose those mechanisms in others, and builds new mechanisms of cooperation and new forms of global security order in areas where that order is weak, absent, or simply unfavorable to China. China's internal security outreach also blends practical law enforcement capacity building activities that are not particularly ideological or authoritarian in nature, with outreach that is much more designed to suppress domestic opposition, promote internal stability, and secure a particular regime's hold on power. These activities strengthen regime security both for Beijing and for recipient countries. We show that China's internal security apparatus is working to mobilize international support and legitimate Beijing's strategy for protecting domestic stability and enhancing the regime security of the Chinese Communist Party. This outreach strengthens patterns of international security cooperation that are not centered on U.S. military alliances and partnerships, but that bypass them. Instead, they are centered on China's vision of entwined regime security and international security, and they are rewriting global security governance in the process.
Our paper includes a novel dataset which tracks China's internal security outreach in detail. Our dataset makes 3 contributions to our collective understanding of China's new role in global security leadership. First, we provide an up-to-date account of which countries have expressed support for China's global security initiative. In total, we found that 113 countries expressed either clear or soft support of GSI, demonstrating just how many countries China has mobilized in support of its new vision of global security governance. Our second contribution is new data tracking participation in China's Global Public Security Cooperation Forum, otherwise known as the Lianyungang Forum. Since it was established in 2022, the forum has become China's largest annual international security event, attracting over 2,100 participants last year, or almost 4 times as many as the Beijing Xiangshan Defense Forum. We also provide the first authoritative accounting of which countries sent official national representatives to participate, a number which grew from 15 in its first year to 69 in its most recent iteration. Our third and most important contribution is a new comprehensive accounting of diplomatic outreach by the leaders of China's internal security apparatus, totaling at 227 meetings with 80 countries since May of 2022. Our dataset offers the first full look at which countries China's internal security leaders have most closely engaged with. And it also highlights several key trends, including extensive internal security outreach to Central Asia, Southeast Asia, East Africa, and the Pacific Islands. And most importantly, the sheer sum of ministerial-level meetings serves as a prime demonstration of just how central internal security outreach has become in China's foreign policy.
So what should we make of this emerging pattern of international security outreach by China's internal security agencies? One clear finding is that Chinese efforts are expanding and evolving rapidly, following a long hibernation period during COVID-19. Another is that the Ministry of Public Security, MPS, not the PLA, not the Ministry of National Defense, not the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, has been the lead agency promoting the Global Security Initiative, which is the new for-export brand of China's security outlook. For Xi Jinping, and it seems for many other world leaders, this comprehensive national security vision centers on political stability and regime security. We also observe through GSI and other security platforms nested under that banner that Chinese security officials are externalizing key aspects of their domestic security practice into international security governance. By targeting its security outreach at the internal security threat perceptions of foreign leaders, China seeks to address a genuine and urgent demand that Americans often fail to recognize, or that Washington views as illegitimate. Meanwhile, China is establishing some robust relationships grounded in law enforcement, political policing, and social and informational control. Finally, our analysis reveals that China's distinctive form of security outreach does not attempt symmetrical head-to-head competition with the U.S.-led international security order. That prevailing system is most developed in the military domain. Instead, Beijing is creating China-centered alternative institutions and mechanisms in areas of global security where existing order is weak or, in Xi's words, inadequate. China's security activities tend to work around existing architecture, gradually degrading its scope and effectiveness by forging new practical pathways for managing global, regional, and bilateral security affairs. At Carnegie, my colleagues and I will continue to study this critical arena of strategic competition and work to understand its consequences for global security order.